The Xbox Series S is often looked at as an upgrade to the One S, but I think that this is actually an upgrade to the whole One line. Yes, the One X included. My name is Julian Melnick, and this is the Console Gaming Channel. We are button mashers, thumbstick thrashers, and here to have a good time playing video games. It is inevitable that you've probably heard about the Series S because for a long time it was the only Xbox you could get. And as Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming to a close, this has found its way into many gamers' homes as well as maybe your home. And that being said, this thing was on sale for $250, and if you purchased it from Target, it was on sale for $250, and you got a $50 Target gift card, which is unreal. Now, I want to debunk a couple things. First things first is that this thing performs well. Now, you're gonna see in the comment section people saying that it's trash or that it doesn't hold up to the One X, and they're just plain wrong. The One X does output native 4K. The word native being that it's true 4K, while this, for the most part, doesn't. All the 4K you're experiencing is upscaled. It takes an image, it upscales it, smooths out some of the edges, and gives you pretend 4K. But for the most part, unless you're someone who has purchased a $800 on sale, close to $1,000 flat screen panel that actually outputs a true 4K image and has high dynamic range as well as all of the other fixins, and more importantly, HDMI 2.1 ports, you really aren't missing out on much. And the reason why I say that is HDMI 2.1 is necessary to transmit the information to get a 4K image and at high frame rates, such as 120 frames per second. And for the most part, those of you out there going like, did I make the wrong decision? I would go as far to say no, because even now we still aren't getting games on the Series X or the PlayStation 5, the two biggest, fastest gaming consoles out there, at 60 frames per second and high resolution. Oftentimes it's dumbed down to 30 frames per second, and if you want to play in performance mode, you might be playing an upscaled version of a lower resolution as is. Now, I know that it's not an exact translation like that, but what I'm trying to prove is that this guy right here is really actually a lot more than is given credit for. It can truly output 1440p, and for the most part, if you're playing on a gaming monitor, that is your resolution size. Because you're not buying a 4K monitor with high refresh rate as well as HDMI 2.1 for $800 just to get 27-inch display. Chances are you're spending that money on a TV. So when it comes to the required equipment to fully take advantage of a Series X and a PlayStation 5 versus the Series S, you're actually spending a lot more than just that $200 surcharge, right? You're not paying $200 more than the $300 here. You're paying $200 plus probably close to $1,000 for the proper TV. Now, it is beautiful, and I'll tell you from firsthand experience, playing a game on the PlayStation 5 on a, LG C2, which is an OLED panel with HDMI 2.1, capable of 120 frames per second with that 4K resolution, is stunning. But I can't say that it's so stunning it's worth the extra $1,000 for the panel, $200 for the Series X. That's $1,200 for maybe a 20% increase in visual performance. Not actual game performance, because the game still performs just the same. There are some exceptions to the rule. There are some games that do perform better on the Series X exponentially. Battlefield 2042 is one of them. That game doesn't look the best on the Series S, and there are a few others in there. But from my understanding, Battlefield 2042 isn't that popular of a title. Games like Halo Infinite, Forza, or Plague Tale Requiem look incredible on the Series S, and as a Game Pass subscriber, you get that with your subscription. Now let's talk about storage space and the lack of a disk drive, because some people would say that that is a huge knock against it. Well, I will say yes, having limited storage capacity is tough, and it does require you to purchase an additional external hard drive. Whether you go with the memory card option, which is very expensive, or you go with an external spinning disk hard drive, don't waste your money on an SSD, you are going to have to expand the storage. The given internal storage available to you is just not enough. So an additional terabyte or 5 in my case is really the proper option there. And so for someone who has bad internet, they think, I can't do this. It's gonna take too long for me to download games. To which I would say, there is a workaround. You do have that internet access that is not the best. And if you get an external hard drive, all you have to do is download games to that external hard drive. And I know the next question. Well, JD, what about the X and S exclusive games that have to be played off of the Series S itself. Simple solution here. The amount of time it takes for you to transfer on and off a larger game, I think I did it with Destiny 2 just a year ago, was about 10 minutes. And so if you have the game already stored on your hard drive itself, all you would have to do is transfer it over in about 10 minutes and you have the game there. And there are a good amount of games that can actually be run just from the external hard drive. So the memory issue ends up being a non-issue. And honestly, as someone who had the Series X for a short while, I was finding myself still running out of storage space with that 1 terabyte of storage. Games are huge. I mean, the new Modern Warfare 2 is massive. And if you're gonna be playing any AAA title, you are going to be needing a lot of space, especially on my PlayStation 5. I had to expand it by 2 terabytes on the internal storage. So the actual storage issue is a non-issue. And for the discs, well, I understand for individuals who have a backlog of games that aren't available via streaming and they just want to be able to keep playing them. Well, to that I would say, yes, the Series X is probably a better option if you plan on completely getting rid of your old system. Chances are you probably had a 1S, maybe even a 1X, and if you had a 1X, I'd say just hold on to it and maybe upgrade to this for some of the newer games. Because that back catalog, though, yes, they're fun to play, the chances of you playing those games primarily is probably pretty low. Realistically, you're probably upgrading your system because you want to play newer games. And you're noticing that some of the performance limitations of an older console is getting a little tedious, such as longer load times and maybe just some fidelity that you're missing out on. So when it comes to the actual backwards compatibility with physical discs, I understand that. Now, when it comes to ownership, we can go ahead and say that that no longer is a real thing either, because we've been finding out that games that get sold to us in physical disc copy have almost no information on it other than some sort of authentication key. And even if it did have information on it, you're still having to download the full game from the Microsoft Store or from the PlayStation Store just to play the game on the system. And this has been true for a while now. So when it comes to that disk drive, though it's something that some of us really are holding on to, it might actually not really be as big of an issue as you think it is. So the final thing is, will this last? A question I was asked a year ago, and I answered it then, and I said, yeah, it will. And I would say right now, if I was to make a prediction on how long this thing is gonna be relevant, I would be willing to bet a lot of money. I don't have any money, so I can't really truly bet it. I would bet my reputation and my word on this channel that this will truly be fully supported for the whole life cycle of the Series X, just as it has been stated by Microsoft. And I think that's a very good thing, because this right here got me into Xbox gaming, plenty of my friends into Xbox gaming, and is getting people into video games, which I think is a very good thing. And the entry level for a newer system being $300 or $250 on sale is incredible versus $500 for systems that you actually have to hunt and buy. If you want to go play a Series S today, all you have to do is go to Best Buy, Target, or Amazon, as well as any other retailer, and purchase one. You can't say the same about the Series X and the PlayStation 5. So if you have any other questions about the Series S or video games in general, specifically console gaming, go ahead and ask them below. And if you have more needs when it comes to information about maybe controllers, this is a really good video comparing the Fusion 2 by PowerA to the Xbox Elite Series 2, which seems to be a controversial controller in and of itself. You can go ahead and check that out. All right, see you guys around. Happy gaming.